Good evening. Thank you for coming out and welcome to our new community center. And please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, Mr. Puccio being absent. Mr. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Duracco.
Present.
Mr. Rhodes.
Present.
Supervisor Monaghan.
Present. Well, good evening. Tell me if this is too loud. I'm still getting used to it. Too loud? How is that?
A little bit low.
Well, we don't have control of the volume. How is that? Am I speaking too close? Is it clear? Testing 1, 2. Okay, thank you. Well, I'll start my supervisor's report. I see, George, you found the new section that we set up for media or anybody who wants to set up a tripod or film. At our last town board meeting, an employee expressed to me that the fire exit was blocked. I spoke with legal counsel on the advice of legal counsel. He suggested we set up an area that's not in front of the fire exit. It's close. People will be able to videotape the meeting. But that does not stop any resident if you're in your regular seat and you want to, from there, you want to record or if you want to use your phone and take a picture, that's fine. This is more for if we have media or like we have tonight with a tripod setup. Well,
I wanted to kind of ask you, you guys are sitting here, why? I mean, I know it's a stupid question, right?
well, we're not a question and answer, but I'd like to hear your input.
Well, no, the question is you've been
And
elected.
just for the record, could you state your name?
Oh, Danica Adler from Tomkins, Cove.
What's your address?
6 Herbert Court.
Thank you.
I want to compliment you on this beautiful building, which we fought tooth and nail to get it. And we fought for this land to save it twice. And you're again trying to sell it. Why?
It's not for sale.
It seems to be happening every year.
No, so it's not, it's what the board did and what we will continue to do in the future. It's your property. It's the residents' property.
That's what I
So
thought.
when we get a proposal, and the latest proposal we had was multi-use seniors, and I remember one of the board members said to me, looks like a good product. He had some concerns. He said, why don't we discuss it amongst the board? Let's put it to the residents. Let's put it out there and let me finish. And let you decide. So we put it to a vote.
It's
And
not
if it
how you
was-
went, really. We tried to be shut down so many times. You tried to disregard our...
You would never shut down. We had a proposal that we put out to the public. And that's what we will do going forward. But I'll tell you, I've learned, unless you get somebody wants to come build a park, an amphitheater, most things here will be turned down. But if we do get a proposal, we'll do exactly like we've done before, going forward. As long as I'm still the supervisor, it's your property. Give it, let any developer put it out to
We
the
have to
public.
fight again
I'm
another
not going to
year.
debate you on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Danica. Okay, next up we have Mr. George Potanovic Jr.
Okay. Supervisor, members of the board, members of the public. My name is George Potanovic. I live at 597 Old Hill Road in Stony Point, and I'm president of Space. The subject I'd like to speak about this evening for public input is the town board's decision that it was necessary at its last meeting on August 8th to draft and vote for a resolution to limit where I can stand to to video record and photograph town meetings. I was informed at the planning board meeting held on August 24th that at the town board meeting held on August 8th, the board had passed a new resolution limiting to designated areas where I can stand to record videos and take photographs during town meetings in order for space to share those videos on YouTube for town residents who are unable to attend meetings. Why the town board decided it was necessary to pass this resolution outside of public view, and why the town board built this state-of-the-art meeting room without the capability for the town to video record and broadcast its meetings as other towns do, are very good questions. However, in passing this resolution on August 8th, it appears that the town board did so behind closed doors, in violation of the New York State Open Meetings Law, which limits the subjects that the town board can discuss outside of public view in executive session, and requires that the public be informed in advance of what subjects the board will discuss and whether or not a vote will be taken when the meeting is reconvened. In this case, the town board drafted and discussed a resolution to limit my ability to video record and photograph meetings during executive session, which seems to be a clear violation of the New York State Open Meetings Law, which limits the subject of those closed-door discussions very specifically to personnel matters, police matters, and contract negotiations, etc. All other matters are supposed to be discussed in open and voted on in public. This is a reference by the Public Officers Law, Article 7, or Section 104 of the Open Meetings Law. After reviewing the August 8th meeting minutes and a recording of the meeting, it is clear that the town supervisor did not indicate the resolution as a subject for discussion or that a vote was expected to be taken. Instead, the town supervisor indicated that there would be a recess to executive session to discuss police matters and that no vote was expected. An hour later, the board would reconvene and voted to adopt the resolution. So it appears that the town board either lied to us about the true purpose of the executive session or failed to notify us this new regulation would be discussed, drafted, and voted on behind closed doors. This questions the entire validity of this resolution and is certainly not what we expect as town residents in terms of open and transparent government in the town of Stony Point.
Okay, thank you for your input. As I stated just want to be clear to the board members, the resolution is not for one individual, it is for anybody, and it's clearly a public safety. But I'm just going to ask council to address the board, because I believe there was a lot of misinformation about what legal and what transpired, so I just ask you to address the board.
First of all, correct a few things. The resolution took place in public session after executive session. It didn't take place in executive session. Secondly, the notification of things that are going to be on the agenda or occur at a meeting under the law is when practicable. The subject hadn't come up and the board wasn't aware of it. I raised it during executive session as attorney-client and gave certain advice to the board of concerns I thought were valid. And I drafted the resolution on the spot that night, and it was adopted by the board based on my advice. I'm kind of shocked this is even an issue. We're talking about a tripod standing in front of a door going out of this, the only door other than going out the back way, where the fire extinguisher was. So it seemed pretty obvious to me that wasn't a wise idea. The law also says the town board can designate a location where people film, perfectly permissible, which makes a lot more sense where it is now than in front of the door or blocking the door in the back. So that was the basis of the decision. There was nothing illegal, nothing underhanded, there was no violation of the Open Meetings Law. And as the supervisor pointed out, this wasn't a George Potanovic resolution as you suggested, Mr. Potanovic. It was a resolution in general. Although you may film, News 12 could be here, that will apply to them. NBC could be here, or any other local media. And as the supervisor pointed out, if anybody wants to film from their chair, they're free to do that. The concern was only equipment, such as Mr. Potanovic using tonight, that would tend to obstruct the door. frankly, I don't really care. I think public safety, in my view, comes before the issues raised by Mr. Potanovic. So I stand by the decision and I'll do it again.
Yeah, I know, and I also was, I'm not going to mention the employees who were concerned, but I'm shocked that you would set up a tripod in a front of an emergency exit, and then we give a spot way up front, clear access that anybody would have a problem with. I think it's excellent. In fact, I remember when a resident who happens to be here asked if I could film. I said, certainly, you're welcome to film, just don't block the exit. And I'd be shocked how anybody in here would think that would be appropriate to sit and set up in front of an emergency exit. But I want to thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, so also on that, after advice from counsel, if we didn't act, we'd be negligent, right? So, God forbid something would had happened, right? And I know this board wouldn't want to be negligent on advice from our counsel, so.
Yeah, but typical. All right, I'd like to invite up Reilly.
Thank you. I'd like to comment on that, but I'm not going to.
You're welcome to.
No, I understand. But
Yeah.
first I want to compliment the board on the great job that you guys all do celebrating our first responders and the many residents in this town that volunteer their time and efforts to make this a better place. There are so many coaches and sponsors and parents and public servants that have served a long time that deserve those accolades, and you do a great job in recognizing that in the meetings. And that's what makes what happened at the last meeting so frustrating. A board member attacked the speaker, declaring that the reason that people don't invest in Stony Point is because of a particular resident. And that to me was disrespectful. The town board members here are elected officials who work for us. And no matter what the personal feelings may be about any individual, myself, anybody, attacking and ridiculing and blaming in your official capacity at a public board meeting, that's just wrong. And the person said, what are you for? For all the years I've been on the board, what have you been for? Now, it wasn't directed at me, but I want to talk about a few things that I'm for. I'm for updating the master zoning plan, which even the town's planning consultant admits is of little use in making decisions today. And I wonder what issues are hidden in this plan that we won't find out until the next developer comes and exploits them, like adding 4 stories onto a couple of a couple of businesses on the ground floor. I'm for broadcasting these meetings and recording them and letting the public see them. The people who can't make it here tonight, but would like to keep up with what's going on in town. And then we have people that walked in 1 minute late tonight, rushed home from work, walked over to sign up, and because we were 1 minute late, they weren't available to speak. And we talk about 9/11 and respect for this country, people being able to speak at a meeting, if it's not interrupting anybody, why can't they just sign up until the public speeches or comments are allowed to go? Just one couple more things, I'm sorry.
I'll give you a couple extra minutes.
Thanks,
Just
I appreciate it.
wrap it up.
Okay. The town, Jim, you saying that your door is always open in terms of information, that's a nice gesture, and I appreciate that, but it's not the same as broadcasting these meetings. I'm for cost-effective expansion of the Ramapo, of the Rose Library using the Ramapo Catskill Library System grants. They could pay for 50 to 70%. I'm for creating an economic development plan for this town with help from the North Rockland Chamber and from other business leaders. I'm for adding some zoning code regulations that we ought to consider that will help preserve and protect our neighborhoods from landlords who are buying single-family homes and renting them, and they're becoming to multiple families, so that there's boarding houses starting to pop up. I'm for applying for every available grant to save us money And I'm also for passing laws that prevent nepotism. Working for the town shouldn't be a family business. Now, you can dismiss these issues as being political, just democratic politics. But it would be refreshing if the town board actually listened to the public rather than trying to make every criticism, everything political between Democrat and Republican. A good example is what's going on at 111 South Liberty. Hundreds of residents are coming out to these meetings, planning board, zoning board meetings, because they don't want this thing in the town. They aren't just Democrats. They're common sense Stony Pointers. And it was common sense Stony Pointers who didn't think selling these 32 acres to a developer who wanted to build 500 units of housing.
Your time is wrapping up.
Okay, let me finish it up then. So I'm going to circle back to my original point that the bottom line is that no resident should be ridiculed by an elected official for being for or against any issue, or for asking questions, or for making a public comment. When people we elect to represent us stoop to ridicule and try to scapegoat residents, no matter who it is, it's wrong. And if you can do it, they can do this to George, they can do it to Dietrich, they can do it to me, they can do it to anybody.
Thank you for your input. I don't want to debate it. I'll leave it alone. I think over the years that I've sat here, and when you hear constant misinformation, sometimes you do get frustrated. I'm sure there's always several sides to every story, as you know. So I'm just going to leave it like that. But thank you for your input, Chairman. I'd like to invite up Laurrie Cozza.
His name's not Jim.
Hello, my name is Laurrie Cozza. I'm a Stony Point resident, and I'm just curious if anybody has any
State your
idea.
address, I'm sorry.
Oh, sure, 205 Main Avenue. What's happening with the gypsum plant? Is anything going on? I mean, are you aware of anybody trying to buy it, or do they want to reopen it, or any information or news about what's happening there?
Okay.
That's my question.
Okay, it's not a question and answer, it's your input, but I'll make a comment when you're done.
Okay, I'm done, but I do have one other quick question.
It's not a question and answer, but I'd like to hear your comment.
My comment is, I hope that something is being done with the algae problem at the lake. Thank you.
So, I'll give you all the information that I know on the U.S. gypsum plant. It was sold several years ago to a German company. They continue to be licensed to operate the plant. I remember just last year they reapplied for their license. Regularly, they have one employee there who runs all the equipment to start the plant, but they have chosen not to. I thought as the economy picked back up, it would have been a great opportunity. What I'm told, I don't know this is fact, that there's cheaper labor and a plant that they work out in Pennsylvania that they've been doing most of their operations of. It's a privately owned corporation, not based here in the United States. I get inquiries all the time on people. I do have a phone number to contact, which I've given that phone number out to at least 50 people who inquire, and unfortunately, they have either not made a decision. It's, to my knowledge, it's not publicly listed for sale. Could it start back up tomorrow? They're licensed and they could begin production tomorrow, but I don't see that happening.
Thank you.
You're welcome.